There is something intimidating about loving great writers. You read them and think, how do they do that? Why don't my sentences sound like this? Why is my journal so ordinary? And slowly, admiration turns into comparison. Welcome back to the Literature Therapy. Today, I want to gently dismantle something. You do not have to write like the writers you admire. Not in your notebook, not in your reflections, not in your private pages. Because the voice you admire was built over years. And often it was very different in private. When we read Woolf and Kafka, we are reading finished work, edited, shaped, refined. But the diaries, uneven, repetitive, doubtful. There were days when Woolf questioned her ability, days when Kafka circled the same anxiety again and again. The polished voice you admire is not how they sounded alone at the desks every night. It was built for imperfection, and so is yours. Here is what comparison does. It convinces you that your natural voice is insufficient. So you start adjusting, you reach for bigger words, longer sentences, a tone that feels impressive, and without realizing it, you abandon the way you actually think. That is the real loss, not literary greatness, authenticity. What if the sentence you almost deleted was the most honest one you wrote? Writing is not about sounding intelligent. It is about sounding accurate to yourself. If your thoughts are simple, write them simply. If your reflections are fragmented, let them be fragmented. If your voice is quiet, do not inflate it. The goal is alignment. When your written voice matches your inner voice, something stabilizes. You stop performing literacy, you start practicing presence. You're not here to become a replica of the authors you love. You're here to develop sensitivity to your own patterns. Literature is not a standard you must meet. It is an invitation to explore. Admire their craft, yes, but do not measure your private pages against their published brilliance. That comparison is unfair and unnecessary. Tonight, write one page deliberately in your most natural rhythm. Short sentences, if that's how you think. Incomplete thoughts, if that's how they arrive. No decoration, no limitation, and no imitation. Just you. Then notice how it feels in your body. Does it feel lighter, more grounded, more real? The writers you admire once sat alone, unsure of themselves too. You're not behind them, you're simply earlier in your own voice. And that voice, the unpolished, unfiltered tone, is worth listening to. Next, we'll look at something even more unsettling about writing privately and why it changes the way you see yourself. Stay with this. Stay with me.